All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Daniela Carulli, and I am subbing in for Craig today, our wonderful leader who is out on one of his bike racing adventures, slash camping, I think, also. So good to have you all here. I'm going to go ahead and start with, let's see. Do we have any guests out there that I don't know the phone numbers. Let me unmute those phone numbers for a second. This is the part where you'll have to pardon me because I'm not great at the technical part. Okay, who is the 0154 phone number? Do you want to give up a name?
Yes, it's Linda G. I'm driving, so I'm just in listening mode. Can you hear me?
Hey, Jenna, if you'd like to please bus us where the sun is. Because I'm inside and I can't see what's going on out there. Please do that.
Okay, hang on. Let me try muting everybody and just unmute her because I'm not hearing her very well.
Oh, there were these. Because the seasons are changing.
And then unmute. Okay, 0154. Can you tell me again who you are?
Yes, this is Linda G., but I'm not sure if you can hear me or not because I'm driving.
Okay, wonderful, Linda. Thank you for joining us this morning.
All right. Good to be here.
Are you a guest with us this morning?
No, I'm a health coach. I'm with Mark.
Okay, awesome. So I guess I don't know your story. Can you give us a 1-minute explanation of kind of your story?
You know, I'm really stuck in traffic here, and I got to pay attention.
Okay, that's fine. We'll catch it later then. Thanks for being here. All right, awesome. So mute that one. And then we have 3429. I'm going to unmute you here for a second here. Who's 3429?
It's Kim Stewart.
Oh, Kim. Hey, welcome this morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Busy but good. I couldn't be on Zoom.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, everybody. Well, this morning, as people are dropping in, if you see a guest that pops in that you would like to introduce, please just let me know, and we can do that. I see Sherry just popped in. Hey, Sherry, welcome this morning. Good to see you. Can you tip your camera down a little bit, or if you're on a laptop, pull it. There you go. Now we can see your face. Wonderful. So, Sherry, I know that you're a guest this morning, so welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Let me see. I'm going to unmute you. How are you, Sherry?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you today?
Oh, doing awesome. Well, thank you for being here with us this morning.
Yeah, I kind of lost you there for a second in my emails, and it was like, oh no, what did I do to you? And then I found you, and it was like, kind of had a little panic situation there going on in my computer unsavviness, but I found you.
Well, I'm glad you did, and don't worry, I have those kind of panic moments when it comes to the computer at times as well. So, Sherry, tell us a little bit about, your name, of course, is Sherry. Where are you from?
Chico, California.
Chico, California. Okay, and tell us a kind of your 1-minute story, if you will. Kind of how did you get started with Take Shape, and where did you begin, and what's happening for you?
Well, I started just by feeling really frumpy and feeling like I came from the doctor's office and I was at 165, and he said you needed to lose some weight and get some little activity going here. I had some osteoporosis going on and feeling just really down on myself, and I had seen your link on Facebook and said, maybe this is something I needed to try. And I contacted you in April and said, this is something I think I need to look into. And we had a good connection though with family and all. And so I said, I think I want to try this. And I had been suffering from chronic pain for 14 years now. And so it was something that I needed to get going and get this weight off and get to a better, healthier state. And so I decided to give it a shot, and I said, let's get going. So I started in May, and since then I've been down on my pain meds and getting healthier by the day, and down 30 pounds now, and just down on the pain meds and getting excited and getting more activity in, having more energy and sleeping better, and just
Wow.
feeling the life and just getting excited about this optimum health that I'm on the journey towards.
Very nice, Sherry. Wow, that is amazing. I'm so glad to have heard your story. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment? Go ahead and unmute yourself, or you can wave at me if you can't do that on your own. Linda.
Good morning. Is it Sherry?
Yes.
Hi, nice to meet you. It's so cool to hear your story because I'm a coach with Craig Blanchett. I don't know if you've met him, but
Yes.
So it's I haven't struggled with chronic pain, but I have met a lot of people who do, and it sounds like something that it would just be so hard to live with. And the fact that you still decided to make that choice and move forward, and now you're getting, sounds like your dosages are going down.
Yes, they are.
That is just so cool. You don't always hear that. It's really a unique story, Sherry. So thank you for sharing. There's so many people that need to know that this is possible, and you're kind of like paving the road for that chronic pain crowd. So it's really cool to hear that.
Thank you so much. It's really helped a lot. It's like I have ankles again. The inflammation is gone down. I have ankles again.
It's the little.
I love that. And she also, just something you guys don't know, but just the difference in hearing her speak from when we started till now is the energy level is different, and also just less breathy, I guess, because she's breathing more easily. Sherry, do you notice that at all?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Awesome. Anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, this is awesome. So are there any guests that anybody, I don't think there's another guest on this morning. So, but go ahead and tickle me if you see somebody pop in as we move on. Let's see. No, just double checking. Okay, awesome. So, well, let's go ahead and start then with our Take Shape for Life University. And really excited this morning because we have some good focuses, I believe. Sherry also was gracious enough to listen to the Habits of Health call. And so she's going to share with us as well this morning what her highlights were and how she feels like those either have impacted or will impact her life. So, Sherry, are you ready for that?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
I found last night that it was a really inspirational Habits of Health webcast or podcast last night. And it was... it jumped back and forth between chapter 6 and chapter 9 on the fundamentals of your insulin, keeping your body sugars level throughout the day. And then 3 things I took away from is your body functions best when it's fueled by 6 small meals a day of low glycemic meals, keeping your blood sugars from in balance, and keeps your blood sugars from spiking. And I thought that was really important to keep that from eating 3 meals a day, like you were brought up to be, you in the traditional family is the 3 meals a day, and then your blood sugar would spike, and then you would have that crash, and then you would feel hungry and stuff until your next meal. And if you eat your 6 meals a day, you kind of keep that balance going, and keeping your blood sugars all the same throughout the day was really important. And then I found that 6 highlights of your day should be hydration, motivation, our movement, sleep, how we manage stress, and how we fuel our body and keeping that balance. And fueling our body is the most important, and then everything else rests upon our fueling our bodies. And then lastly is reading our labels, and especially the fat and the carbs and the proteins. We want to keep our carbs and our proteins about equal, so that when we're reading those labels that we don't have too much carbs and too much proteins. If we keep them about the same, then we're eating the right amount to fuel our bodies to keep them full till the next time we eat in the next 2 to 3 hours. It'll keep us full longer, and our blood sugars won't spike.
Wonderful, love it. So Sherry, when you're thinking about those things, which of those things have been most valuable, do you think, in your journey so far?
Reading the labels.
Okay. So you're more aware of that now?
Yes, and the carbs and the proteins being equal. I didn't realize that.
Okay, awesome, great. Anybody have any comments or additional information that they would like to share?
I wanted to give someone else a chance. Is anyone else raising their hand? Daniela?
Oh, thank you for reminding me to look, because
While you're looking, I'll add to that, Sherry, that there's so much that we can learn over our journey, and sometimes it can feel overwhelming. At least it has for me, because there's so much knowledge. But I think that exactly what you talked about regarding the labels has made the biggest difference in my husband and I's continuing forward. Getting the weight off is great, but now what? And that has really been a huge factor for the now what piece in grocery shopping or eating out. So I think that's a huge piece that people just don't know about. They always count calories, but if you look at almond calories or Snickers bar calories, they're doing two very different things to your body. But I used to count calories, but now I know, oh, actually, I need to make sure these are balanced as best as possible. So I would say that's been huge for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see that Diane Thompson's here. And Diane, I don't know if you are able to jump in and add anything to that, but that's kind of your niche.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that really I never even got taught in my coursework as a dietitian. So we never, we're taught to balance carbohydrates to proteins. So even though I've been doing the program now for, 4 or 5 years, and I learned it through the program, for most dietitians, they don't even get taught that. So it is pretty novel information, even to me. So, and certainly to my clients, I was doing a coaching call yesterday, and she said, I don't remember you ever saying, telling me that, but I know I have. But anyway, so it never hurts to hear it again. But yeah, that part of it was definitely novel.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty amazing, because that really shows the forward trend of, Dr. Anderson and all the things that we do together as health coaches in helping people grow in understanding how they're fueling their bodies. So thanks for sharing that, Diane.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Anybody else want to make a comment? Okay. Well, I don't see that Wade is on, and he was going to share something with us today, so hopefully he's okay. But the next thing that is on our agenda this morning, we're going to get starting with our health coach piece of it, where we're helping each other to move forward to be more proficient at our craft and serving our clients. And so one of the things that Craig had shared with me that Carrie had brought up was, gosh, what do those client calls look like week after week? How do we keep them from being boring? And so one thing that I wanted to do was just kind of open up a discussion about, what do those client check-in calls look like? And what are we doing? And I'm also, while we start that discussion, I'm going to bring up the file folder too, because that is the baseline of how we make those calls and what the structure of those calls is. But then if we follow that structure, absolutely precisely, we'll get pretty boring week after week. So just thought we would brainstorm together things that maybe we do that keep the calls interesting, that keep our clients moving forward. So is there somebody that wants to open that up a little bit while I pull up the file folder too?
Someone has to go, and it can't be me.
I know, right? Linda and I are.
I vote Diane.
Okay.
I'm putting her on the spot.
I'm used to being put on the spot, so I'm pretty comfortable here. Well, something that I've been doing lately that is making it a lot of fun for me, because if I have fun doing the call, then I think my clients have a lot of fun too. So, and the Millers are doing this in their practice. So they create a little video every week, a 1-minute video. And I've been doing that, and my clients are all watching the Habit of Health call. Because I do something, I'm out there on the beach with my dog, or, out on a running trail, or something fun where I'm having fun. And people are loving it. Every week they say, oh, we really loved your video. And it's nothing, it's just being relatable. And so that's something that, for me, it opens up a lot of discussion with clients, and it keeps me excited about what I'm doing, because I have to be creative in creating that little video. But it's a lot of fun, and it does take a lot of energy to do it, and I try and make it around the topic of the week, the Habit of Health call. Like last week, it was around nutrition. So I did a little video around that. So that's something that I'm doing that is really proving to be a lot of fun, not only for me, but for our clients, which is our #1 priority. So that's something that I've done.
That's a good idea.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Diane, is that in place of a call, or is that like a midweek video and then on your celebration call days?
No, yeah, it's on the day that we do I do my coaching calls on Thursday. So Wednesday I create it after I've watched the Habit of Health call, usually. And then I send it out first thing in the morning, and I just say, I'm looking forward to our call today. Here's our tip for the week, my tip for the week. And I encourage them to watch the Habit of Health call. And yeah, I'm just getting a lot, most people are watching it, and I can track it through Bitly, because I created a unique, what do you call it? What do you call that? I can't even think. Anyway, it's a unique click or link to the call, and so I can see how many people are watching it. So I'm having a really, really high rate of people watching it, which wasn't happening before.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, for whatever reason. So anyway, anything that you can do like that, that's fun and encourages people you know, do more, be more fully integrated is helpful. So that's working really well for me.
Can I ask real quick, how do you send it, Diane? Is it through email? It's through email? Okay.
No. Well, I have some clients who don't have texting, so I send that to them through an email. The rest of them is a text, because everybody, you know, texts. They watch their phones like crazy. So that's how I do for everybody who has that capability. So.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome, because I've done some videos, but I can't tell who watches them. And sometimes people don't get back because maybe I take too long and I don't leave any questions for them to get back to me. So that's a really good idea. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome thing that I've been having fun with, and leaving the question at the end of the video so there's a reason for them to get back is really great.
Yep.
I need to learn from you how to do that, whatever that bit thing is that you're talking about.
Bitly? Yeah.
Yeah. So awesome. Okay. So in terms of the document, I'm gonna, it's moved because it's not in the same place in my office in Motion. So I should have checked that in advance, and I didn't. So I'm not able to bring that up right now, but if somebody has that, that would be great.
File number 1 or 2?
File 2.
File 2. Oh man, I jumped to 3. What did I do with number 2?
So I think the beginning structure, of course, is celebration, right? The first thing that we do is celebrate with them. So asking them about, you know, what some things are over the course of the week that they can celebrate with. And there's some really important reasons that we ask that question. Does anybody want to share some feedback or information in terms of maybe different ways that you ask that question to keep it entertaining week to week, or what you have discovered by in the value of asking that question? I'm going to see if I can unmute everybody, because I think some folks out there are on the phone. Where are my participants? There they are. Okay, everybody's unmuted, so if it gets a little too noisy, I might need to undo that. But anybody have any comments in terms of the celebration portion of the call? Okay. So go ahead,
Craig
Mark.
and I did one. Craig and I did a celebration call together with the client last week, and part of the thing is we always ask, who's noticing? Who's noticing? How do you feel? And the client actually made a comment. Yeah, Martin asks that every week. Who's noticing? And what that was an indication for me was maybe I needed to lay that foundation a little bit better as far as why are we asking that question? It's really to build a community around the person, because if people are in his world, in their world, are noticing, wouldn't it be fun if they joined them so they could be on this journey together? So the client was just hearing the question, but missing the underlying, or I didn't do a good job of showing him the underlying motivation of that question.
Okay, so sometimes the motivation has to do with bringing other people into their journey with them?
Yes, rather than just, hey, who's noticing? You know, it could be a referral for you versus who's noticing. You know what? Part of this journey that you're on is really strengthening your community. We're part of the community, but the people that you associate with every day, they're even, you know, closer to you. So what if we strengthen that community as well?
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I think also people forget that they have something to celebrate, right? They sometimes get down on themselves, and unless we ask and help them pick out during their week, they don't often recognize that there's some pretty amazing choices they did make, even if they did have a curveball along the way. So I like that. That's two great reasons. Diane, do you have anything to contribute?
You're putting me on the spot.
I am. You're in the center on my screen, so.
Oh. I love it. You know, I agree with what Martin just said. You know, I just get, you know, I get really animated because I need that myself, because otherwise I don't, you know, if I'm not excited about it, I can tell in my clients, you know, that they're not excited either. But if I'm excited and I'm, you know, I bet Linda Benson's really good at this. Linda, I can just see you being really good at this. But anyway, you know, I have to almost be animated to get myself up, especially some days more than other days. But I think people feed off of our excitement. And if we're excited, they're going to be excited. If we're not, you know, it's going to be humdrum. So I think from, you know, from my perspective, it's important to have that level of excitement. And that's catchy for people, I think. So anyway, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, great. That's a great tip for the celebration component. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Did somebody find that file folder too, by any chance? No?
I didn't find it. I think, but I have started. They just put one out, a client celebration call outline on the simple systems.
Perfect.
So I found that, but that's not what you were looking for.
Well, I think that's a great document also. Do you want to just kind of share the highlights from that document?
Absolutely. So they, just like Daniela said, the call starts off with, what are we celebrating? I think what Diane and Martin said is so valid, because first of all, people need to know that I think there's so much shame involved in this type of coaching environment, because people feel like they either have to prove something to you because you're their coach, or if there's any means of failure or letdown, which they will hit road bumps. We guarantee it as coaches, because we hit road bumps. People almost want to isolate and withdraw, but the idea that you're telling them, well, what are we celebrating? Maybe despite a mistake or a blunder that week, lets people know that they can keep moving forward. And it's not a, well, I'll just throw everything out with the bag because I ate a cookie today, which is how I used to think. So I think the celebration portion is huge, because it can be, well, did you get your water in? Even if you had 3 pieces of pizza, you know, and they learn to think mentally differently and have a progressive thought process versus a all or nothing thought process. So the script starts off with that. What are we celebrating today? And then what is a non-scale victory that you had last week? And that's the second question. And then that kind of weaves in what Martin was talking about. Have you posted in our client Facebook page for Transformation Tuesday, which I don't know if we have a Transformation Tuesday, but that might be really cool to start doing on our page. Okay.
Yeah, or even, you know, I think it's cool when clients post particularly their non-scale victories on those client pages, because I think it's those non-scale victories that ultimately really matter. It's not what the scale says, right? I mean, we all know that. It's how we're feeling. It's the changes in our lives and their lives that help us function better day to day.
Yeah, exactly. It's not only focusing on the scale, it's what did I change today or do differently. So that might be something that we as a team can start doing, or encouraging our clients to do, is if they had a non-scale victory, hey, go share it on the page. There's people that would be really encouraged by that. And that can also promote that community aspect of, hey, what might seem small to you could be big for somebody else. And you could be an inspiration for someone. And then the third piece is, let's be sure you are in a strong fat burn. So checking the system of high energy, good sleep, no hunger, and rapid weight loss. So That's a good one, just to make sure people are following, because a lot of times they're not. Or you've heard that, well, I had a slice of pizza, but that won't do anything, right? Tell me if I'm going too fast. Do you guys want me to slow down? Or
Oh, I think you're doing great.
okay. And then any events coming up that we need to prepare for? That's a great question, because it promotes forward thinking and you coming in as a support to help strategize. And I haven't done that, but I've heard Craig ask that question. And I think that's really good. And then who is on your heart for health? Does anybody ask that kind of question with their client celebration calls? I don't normally.
I've asked it a couple of times, but it's reminding me that I need to be more consistent about that, because I think as people move forward in their journey, they do start wondering about people they love and care about, for sure.
I agree. And then that bleeds right into how great would it be to assist others to get healthy. And there's a couple of steps after that. And I can post this celebration call outline in our coaches page if people want it.
I think that would be great. It'd be a great follow-up to this call, or when Craig posts this video, to attach that there too, maybe.
Okay, that's a good idea.
That would be awesome. I love that. Thank you, Linda, for having that handy.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of conversation. So there were a lot of things listed in there, and if we were to talk about all of those things at every call, first of all, it would get boring. Second of all, the call would take longer than that 5 to 10 minutes that we really try to goal toward with our clients. So what are some tips out there in terms of, what do you think are the couple of things that you do hit every single time because they're really high value? And then what are some of the things that are maybe layered in over the course of repeated calls with a client? And then what do you do to keep it entertaining and different, to have it be fun with your clients?
Someone better pipe up, because I'm really curious. I need help with this.
So I love the video call. I started that also, and Diane did a really nice job of explaining that. And that can be anything from sharing something in your own life. I've done that. This is something that happened for me this week. Have you had this experience? I'd love to hear about, that sort of thing. Or even throwing a challenge out to them. Sometimes a challenge can be listening to the Habits of Health call, or taking consistency. So consistency has been on my mind a lot. So I share that with my clients in my videos to them, and then follow up. And so we have a little bit of conversation based on that video, which changes then the conversation each time. So that's just one way of doing it. Oh, somebody.
Is Kim still on? No. Wait. Kimmers?
Can you hear me?
Yes! Speak up, woman.
Well, I just thought I would jump in on the video thing. That was something that I transitioned to very recently. A consistent part of my my client calls. So basically, I kind of changed the format. I used to call all of my clients, reach out to them each week, and I'm kind of transitioning the expectation to have them call me. And I just kind of had it on my heart that there's a lot of people that I feel like at times I'm kind of chasing down, and I don't want them to feel that way. But I want them to know that I care. And so I just transitioned to basically on their call-in days sending out a video to remind them, hey, it's client call-in day, and I usually have a tip, or it might be something I saw in the Habits of Health, or something that, you know, in my own personal journey. But I really am liking the way that this is working out and having them call me, because one, it requires them to kind of take that ownership of their journey, that I'm not gonna be pounding down their door and begging them to stay on track or whatever. Not that I was doing that, but interestingly enough, I feel like I am talking to more people. Like when the ball is in their court, they are. One of the pieces too is I have an all-day time slot. I know not everybody can do that, but you could also set up a couple different time slots if you're, you know, working, you know, at another job as well. But I basically say, you know, call me when it's convenient for you. When you have 10 minutes, just give me a call. And sometimes, because I think sometimes people, I just call at an inconvenient time, and then they forget to get back to me or whatever. And so it's been a really good experience so far, but I love hearing, I just want to say, I think this topic is just really great. Would love to have even more people on the call to hear other people, what they do, because I think, so Daniela, you asked, what do we do in every call? And I say, I always want to celebrate in every call, whatever they have to celebrate, and especially non-scale victories if possible. Because that's really what it's all about. And then I love all these other ideas. Like I love what Diane said about the, you know, just encouraging the Habits of Health call. I'm trying to figure out how, would love some more practical information on how that's done, and how I might be able to work that into what I'm already doing. But having these ideas and just, you know, a place to maybe prop them up in front of our computer or whatever we're doing to say, okay, you know, last week I asked people, you know, who was on their heart for health, and this week I'm going to, you know, shift the focus to something different. I think having as many ideas is helpful so that it doesn't become the same thing every week. And honestly, if clients aren't feeling good about their journey, repeating it every week, I can understand why they don't really want to talk to me. So, I don't know, that's kind of what was on my mind as the topic was being discussed.
Yeah. Kimmers, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Daniela, did you have something to follow up? I don't want to interrupt where you
No, go ahead, Linda.
How did you start that process of laying out the expectation? Because I think I don't want people to feel like I'm chasing them down. So sometimes I just revert to texting them. Because some people aren't talkers. But how did you start that process of transitioning the expectation?
Yeah, I basically, I think I used text initially and just said, hey, I've been learning some more things about coaching, and I'm excited to share those with you. And so I'm looking forward to chat more about those when we connect on our next client call. And so I actually talked with people about it as much as possible. And then I think the next week I did the video lead in and said, you know, today's challenge is I would love it if you called me first. And, you know, I'm still going to be calling. So, you know, on your mark, get set, go. We'll see who gets a hold of who first. And so for, you know, the first week, I still called everybody. I kind of called like maybe an hour later than I normally would, so I gave them some time to beat me. And then just kind of set up then I think the next week I waited till kind of the end of the day, like in the evening. So anybody I didn't hear from, I reached out and called. And then this week I waited, and at the end of the day, the next day I kind of looked to see who did I not hear from. Are they people that I never hear from? Or were there some that I normally talk to that didn't call me? And I reached out to those people specifically if, you know, they were missed. So does that answer your question, Linda?
Yeah, I think so. So it was really a process of like giving people almost a challenge and then giving them some time to respond and then following up. So you were consistent in telling them that this was still going to happen. but you're kind of starting that expectation that they have the opportunity to call you when it works for them.
Yeah, and I just explained that, you know, a lot of times I'll call and you're busy, right?
Yeah.
I call at a bad time.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be great if you got to look at your schedule for the day and decide, you know what, I normally talk in the morning, but this afternoon it's going to work so much better for me that you could just call me when it was convenient for you.
Yeah.
So I want to do this so that it makes it easy and convenient for you. And then I also say, and besides that, it's really great that, you know, I don't want to be chasing people down. I don't want you to feel like I'm, you know, bugging you. And so by you making that step to give me a call, you know, you can feel really good about that you're taking your journey into your own hands. And I'm excited about reaching out and about just supporting you in that. And then I reassure them that I'm not going to let you just fall off the map. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to be contacting you and just making sure you're doing okay. So I want them to still know that I care. And I did have a couple clients express concern, like, you know, the fact that you were calling, even though I didn't answer, that was really motivating to me. That kept me on track, even though I didn't talk to you. And I just reassured those people, I'm still tracking with you. I still care.
Yeah.
You're
But
sending
I don't want to be the driver.
Right. That's
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Kim. That was a really great explanation of how you got started with that. One of the things that I love about doing this is that the clients get to call when you know that they're ready to tune in and really, you know, talk with you. That's one thing. The other thing that I love is for those clients that maybe are like what Kim has described, where they really didn't necessarily call back, but they were counting on your call and the input that maybe you left.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now not only do they get your call, but they get your face, your expressions, and all of that because you're sending a little video to them. Love it. Okay.
Yeah, and in the conversation I know that you and I had, Daniela, it is so true that normally when I call somebody and I don't get them in person, I'm kind of stumbling as to what to say. Mm-hmm. And I don't really take the time to think about a useful message to leave. It's usually like, hey, I'm just checking in. I hope you're doing well. Give me a call when you get a chance. Whereas these videos, I think, well, last week I talked about water and the importance of water, I think the video before that I talked about obstacles, and you know, if they're very short, they have to be less than 1 minute to go over text. But I think it at least gets them thinking, and that's our conversations have actually come about. You know, like I had lots of people say, "Well, I'm getting my water in," you know, when I left the message about water. And so I think it does, if nothing else, I do feel like there's been times where my calls have been very monotonous or, you know, just like the same. What are we celebrating? You know, this and that.
Yeah.
If nothing else, the video brings a different focus. Like whether it's about what was on the Habits of Health call, or, you know, a lot of times when I do talk with clients, I will see a theme coming up, whether that's a seasonal thing or, you know, hey, what are you doing to get exercise right now since the weather changed, or, you know, whatever it might be. I do think it gives more value, certainly, than leaving a message, hey, just checking in, how are you doing? So,
yeah, love that, love that. Okay, well, we have just a little bit of time left. I love all those ideas about different things that we can insert to the call, especially using the video format to do that. Love that thought, Kim, and I remember discussing that together about the video sort of forcing us to put together a 1 minute thought, right, that's really focused and concentrated versus, oh, I got an answering machine, what am I going to say real quick here? So love that. Okay, so I'm going to kind of tie up this this segment, I think it's worth probably another discussion somewhere along the line because it's such a valuable part of what we do.
Daniela,
Yeah.
can I just add one thing? Because this was a game changer for me. And
Absolutely.
Alex challenged me to do it. And I don't know why I dragged my feet so long, but he challenged me to sit down with a piece of paper and write out ideas for calls, you know, for a 1 minute little call. So I sat down and I came up with 25 and I have my sheet and I write down as I get ideas, I write them down. So then when it comes time to do the video, because I think this is a place that a lot of people get stuck because it's like, what am I going to talk about, right? So, you know, do it ahead of time. Sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and write out some ideas around what you can, you know, do a 1 minute little video. And then if you get stuck and like, what am I going to talk about this week? Well, I have 6 months worth of ideas. So I never have that as a stumbling block for me to do my call. So that's just another point. So I didn't, you know, I just think that was really worth it to me when Alex challenged me, but it took me a few weeks to actually do it. I don't know why. There's something about seeing yourself on video sometimes that's intimidating, but now I don't have an excuse because I have a lot. And now it's like I get 3, 4, 5 ideas in a week. So anyway, that's just another point to add to all of that discussion.
I love that. That's a good way of tying. Marty. Oops, can't hear you. Do I have you muted? Let me check here. Okay, there you go.
Thanks for sharing, Diane, Kim. This reminds me of, and I like kind of what you did earlier, Diane, as far as you used a weekly support call. What are we going to talk about? Well, we have 3 support calls to use as information as a launching pad to talk about a habit, and then send them a link to that call. So I thought that's just a great source. Kim Fisk a couple years ago had mentioned that when she would call clients wouldn't pick up the call. And she was finally talking to she finally got a hold of a client. She goes, "Oh, I don't pick up your calls because your messages are so inspirational. I want to get the message so I can listen to it throughout the week." And I thought, and her team just the central each week they would talk about one thing with all their clients. And that just kind of reminds me of what we're evolving into with our technology. Instead of leaving a voicemail, we have this opportunity to now leave a 1 minute video vignette filled with energy and excitement for our client, and then give them the opportunity to, and this is what Terry Miller is doing, give them the opportunity to call us for support and additional information. So it gives them the ball. We've given them some information. Now you have the ball. Let's connect this week and we can go over something.
I love that accountability piece, right? It's huge because it's their journey. Shouldn't they be, you know, contributing? Yeah.
And one other source of what do we want to talk about on a weekly basis? We have this Optavia guide that gives us week 1 is water, week 2 is mindfulness, week 3 is movement, week 4 is I forgot. But we have 4 weeks of information to start with also.
Yeah. Love that, Marty. Thank you. That's really valuable. Linda.
I don't want to monopolize our time, but this has been a pertinent thing for me to hear today, because I've been challenged by Diane and Kim and Martin and you, Daniela. I need to show up better, because all of these things that you guys are talking about, it means consistency. It means being available. And I think sometimes I would dread phone calls because it would always go to voicemail. So my first negative thought is they don't want to talk to me, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And so eventually I don't even want to call anymore because it feels like a form of rejection. So I'll send a video instead, but it really, I need to be available so people can call me when it works for them. And I need to be consistent and really engaged in our support pieces. So I've been challenged today. So I just wanted to say thank you to all y'all, because it's challenged me to be more professional. So.
Well, that's one of the greatest reasons for coming together here, right? Is that we get to challenge each other to hone in on our craft and serve others better. So love that. So we have just a little bit of time, and I see that Wade is here. Wade, are you available to share getting your focus right? Craig had said that might be something you were going to address today.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Wade!
Hello. Yes, I'm way out in the country, far from any cell towers, so I'm a voice only today.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been on my journey for I think it's coming up on 3 years now, and so, I lost a whole bunch of weight in like a couple 3 months. And then, I became a health coach and been on this sort of, winding journey ever since. And I suppose like most things, you learn something intellectually and you have some good progress up front, and then, your life slowly but surely sort of drifts into kind of your regular old habits, and various things sort of come back at you, and you've got this whole new, these challenges to maintain your new ideas and new lifestyle. And so anyway, I've been kind of on that, ongoing journey for a long time. I've maintained my weight pretty okay. I would guess I would call it, I'm sort of, yo-yoing at a much lower level than I used to. So instead of, going up and down between 285 and 325, now it's, 230 and 260. I've been kind of bouncing around in there for a couple of years. And mostly that has to do with, being consistent and trying to find this peace. And so anyway, I guess the something that's happened in recent weeks is that I've kind of gotten some clarity on this whole idea of, what actually motivates me. Not not what do I think motivates other people, or what should motivate me, or any of these kinds of things, but actually motivates me. And I think I've got lots of answers to this question, of course, because, I'm a coach and I ask people about it all the time. But I guess something I've learned in recent weeks is that the minutia of this is kind of important. So I've had lots of, answers about, I'm an actor. I wanted to go back to that career. I've been doing that for 3 years, right along with my health journey here. And so, wanting to be able to be an actor. I'm middle-aged, so, I want to be healthy going into that. I want to be an old, healthy person. I want to see grandkids, all the questions or all the answers that people have. But I've kind of learned for me that that none of that is immediate enough to keep my hand out of the cookie jar, so to speak. And so finding what is it that motivates me right now, today, in this moment where, hey, there's things to eat and I'm alone and I could totally do this with nobody knowing other than me. And so, so anyway, that's been an elusive piece. So what I learned is that what motivates me the most is I want to feel every day of my life the self-confidence and self-respect that comes from making choices that that help me live the life that I want. And I found that when I'm going off and on and up and down and sideways on my plan, that my confidence is eroded, my self-respect erodes, and I end up in this kind of a dark hole of the olden days when I was at 325 and not feeling good about myself or my life or my future. And I guess I just want to say to folks that this whole idea that we're on a journey, and that continuing to do the work of okay, well, this isn't working so well for me. What are the pieces I need to continue to bring into my world? How do I stay connected to my supports, and just continuing to assess and evaluate and think about who you want to be and what kind of life you want to have. And anyway, that's just been a kind of an epiphany to me lately that has made a big difference. And find my weight is going down and my self-confidence and self-respect are going up, and these are excellent things that are available to us all, but it's a journey for sure.
Oh my gosh, that was so powerful, Wade. I really appreciate that you're sharing that, because ultimately what you're talking about is getting on this journey for yourself, right? Not in front of other people or because of other people, but really discovering why it's important for you, and then picking out that consistent thing. So it makes me think of John Maxwell, who says, and I never get it exactly right, but he says that you can't change your life unless you change something you do every day. And that what you shared today brought that to mind.
Yeah, I've been sort of a little bit astonished by, you know, again, having been a coach for a couple of years and talking to people about exactly these things. And then, you know, I guess I'm just reminded that, you know, just learning something intellectually is not the same as incorporating it into your life as an actual habit. And so anyway, I've just, something that in other discussions, I give up, I give in often, but I never give up. And that's a thing that's become kind of a mantra for me, that it's like, well, I hate that giving in, and it bugs me, but in the end, you know, there's something I want, and I'm just simply never, ever going to give up on moving forward in my journey here. And it's that thing that, you know, it's like, I have never been 3 years on any health journey before. It's always like, oh, I can do, you know, 60 days, but that's the end of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyway, stay the course.
Welcome to the optimal health journey, where we fall off course and come back together, right?
Amen. Yeah.
You're never done.
Yeah. Is anybody else? I mean, that was so amazing. I'm sure other people have comments, so I'm going to unmute people so they can participate.
Okay, if I jump in, Daniela?
Absolutely, Kim.
Sorry, it's hard. I don't get to see everybody if they're trying to get in there, but I just want to thank Wade for sharing that. I think, boy, I just don't know of anybody that doesn't go through those periods of time where motivation is an issue. And for me, I've been really reflecting lately, because I have clients that are struggling, and I can't manufacture that motivation for them. And I, at the same time, right now I'm experiencing focus that I haven't experienced before either, just being part of the Optavia challenge. And it really feels easy to me right now. And I'm reflecting on that. I think that the difference is, for me, is that making that fundamental choice to be healthy, and realizing that sometimes kind of waffling back and forth and wanting to partake in the old unhealthy ways and that kind of thing, it makes it more complicated and harder than making that straight decision. This is what I'm going to do. And then one other thing that I was thinking about this morning is that oftentimes,
5 more minutes.
Oftentimes excuses can come in so easily. And I think that being reflective of it, I heard myself saying, you know, I'm so busy right now, I can't even do this and I can't do that. And this morning it just kind of hit me that, boy, when I just take the responsibility that, you know, this is due because of, you know, this is the choices that I made, and that's gotten me into this situation. It's initially in that instant, I think it's the same with food. Like, we might have to say no, and in the instant we might feel bad about not having whatever treat we might want in the moment. In that moment that I take responsibility for something and say, you know, this is really my fault. I said yes to too many things, or, you know, whatever it might be. There's such power in that, because all of a sudden I feel like I have the ability to do something about it. And so I just have been kind of thinking about that today and trying to listen to my language and making sure that I'm taking responsibility for every choice in my life. And if I don't like the way something's going and I don't like the way I feel because I'm too busy or I didn't eat what I should have eaten, taking responsibility just gives me so much power to overcome that, and encouragement, even though in the moment it feels bad. I hope that makes sense, because it's kind of hard to express verbally for me. But
Wow, yeah, absolutely. I love what you bring up, Kim, in that it is a struggle. I don't think any one of us just goes along this path easily and doesn't need to, you know, struggle with, oh my gosh, this is really what I want, but this looks really good, or this feels better right now, right? And yeah, it's just a journey that we're all on, and putting it out there, I think, even for our clients, you know, letting them know that, hey, we struggle, we think those thoughts too, so that they don't think they're in isolation and then come around to this weird idea that they can't do this, right? I mean, yeah, so love that, Kim. Thank you. Okay, well, we're a few minutes past the hour, so do need to wrap up. Does anybody have maybe a final comment or anything they want to share before we close up? Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you, Wade, for your sharing, and Sherry for being with us this morning. And all the rest of you, I really appreciate all of you. Have a great week, and let's get America healthy.
Good job, team.
You have a healthy day too.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, and I'll stay on if anyone wants to chat a couple minutes. I'm just going to